Hello and welcome back to part 3 of the Dacia campaign. I'm so excited for this campaign because we're actually doing much better than we were with Spain, despite, I believe, the difficulty being a little bit higher with Dacia. At the start of part 3, we have 7 regions controlled. If you look at our financial statement, we are making 10,351 in revenue per turn. We're also spending a lot on construction, investing in different buildings, that kind of stuff, but overall we're actually very profitable right now, so I'm really happy about that. Last time we knocked the Thracians out of the game, also securing a pretty safe northern border for our empire against the Scythians now that we have this army camping out on this river. We've picked up Byzantium, which will be really important for trade, also as kind of a jumping off point for the Macedonian campaign and eventually going into Turkey. And now we have Salona and Segestica, which is really important for our mid game because those are really important cities for trade and the different mining resources they have. So these two cities will end up being worth a huge part of our economy eventually. I'm definitely very excited to have those. So looking forward, we don't really have that many options for how we want to expand. We don't want to push north into the Scythians because there's so much land here and so few resources that it's really not worth taking these cities. And as long as we have this safe northern border, we want to use it. Pushing into Italy is dangerous because we run up against the Romans and the Gauls, and pushing north and west into Germanic territory is not really smart because there's not a whole lot of money here, and they're relatively dangerous as well. So those aren't really great options. The main option we're considering is pushing south, picking up Macedonia. And luckily, we already have allies in the Greek cities, and they have some pretty strong armies. If you take a look at the army in Thermon, that's an incredible army for this early in the game. So they're natural enemies with the Macedonians, and they're already at war with them, and we're allied with them. So it makes sense that we would work with them to take out the Macedonians. And hopefully we can pick up a lot of their cities, and hopefully the Greeks don't pick up too many of them. So speaking of, I want to take kind of my rampaging army of generals and Scythian mercenaries and push that south to attack the Macedonians. We don't want to declare war immediately on this army, because it's just 2 units, there's no real point in fighting them, and I doubt they will actually attack us now that they see us here. But we'll take our mercenaries and our generals and push them out of Byzantium. We want to bring down the tax rate so they don't rebel on us, but we're going to use this army to push into Macedonia. We're not bringing any infantry to man any siege towers, anything like that, because I know we'll be buying some hoplites or something once we get into Macedonian territory, so we will have something to man ram. And I'm trusting that this Macedonian army won't attack Byzantium. And if they do, we have 2 units of infantry and a unit of archer warband. I think we can handle them. So let's push first for Bylazora in the north. This is the easier town to capture, definitely easier than Thessalonica. Because if there are any big armies of the Macedonians, they usually hang out around Thessalonica or Larissa. So they probably won't have time to counterattack if we attack Bylazora first. So that's what we're going to kind of beeline for. And that is the last thing we could do this turn. We don't really have any move points or any money to invest anywhere, so we'll go ahead and end the turn. Macedonians have left Byzantium, so I'm guessing they're marching back towards their territory. We don't see them, but they're probably over here in this forest. And with that capture, we are actually the largest faction, which is very exciting. And congratulations to Duras, who married Branka. And he has unquenched anger, so maybe she's not that great. Let's take a look at our end of turn report. We lost 2,460 denarii that turn, but we're investing so much in construction right now. That's actually a really good result. Our economy is really strong right now, and that's not relying on any kind of tributes that we had going with the Greek cities previously. So definitely the economy is doing much better than I expected it would be this early in the game. We'll continue marching Skyles and his army over to Bylazora, and I won't actually immediately declare war, but we will continue marching in that direction. Now we see some rebels here. I could just pick them up real quick. But no, we're not in range of them. We might not pick them up. I don't think Tylus is really suffering from a lot of destruction. Devastation of 74 per turn. I can ignore that. We'll see, maybe I'll pick it up next turn, but no need to just kill some random peasants. What I'm really hoping for is that once we take Bylazora, we can push south and hopefully cause some kind of a battle between the Greeks and the Macedonians. They're at war, but I want their big armies to clash, so they kind of just get rid of as much of their strength as possible and not mine. Taking a look at what's going on in that war already, looks like this Macedonian large town, Corinth, is already under siege. They were just besieged this turn, so our Greek allies are definitely getting involved a little bit, but it looks like Athens has already been taken by the Macedonians. You can tell because it says that it's neutral. It would always say at war if it was still rebel. And it would say allies if it was the Greeks. So it's definitely the Macedonians who took Athens, which is a shame because the first faction to pick up Athens has the first academy of the game. So whichever general's in the army that picks up Athens first, they get a ton of really rare retinue that you would never get any other time in the whole campaign. So there's probably an excellent general just hiding out in Athens right now. And unfortunately, we don't get that because we weren't the first to get there. Now, we have 4,452 denarii to spend this turn, and we probably will spend most of it on construction. We don't actually have that many cities that aren't currently building something. Let's take a look. Tylus is building a meeting hall. Same with Porlisum, because we want to get a Hall of Heroes as quickly as possible. And Campus Yazigis and Campus Getai are both building a communal farming to get that population growth rate up. In Byzantium, we started building mines last turn, so really the only place to purchase anything is Salona, and it's between mines, roads, and a wooden palisade. I think just given that Lugotorix is hanging out right here with an army, we definitely want wooden palisade to be our priority. By the way, Lugotorix, welcome back to YouTube. I'm very excited for your new series, but please do not invade Dacia. I would really not enjoy that. Now, another thing I'd like to do is pick up Aquincum, just because I don't want the Gauls to take Aquincum and then they have this foothold here, and even if we're not at war with them, they'll always be kind of thinking about invading. So I might start training some troops. Let's train, what do we want to build? Maybe a unit of Warhounds in Campus Yazigis and a unit of Archer Warband in Porlisum. These two both have very low upkeep. 170 upkeep for the Archer Warband and 40 upkeep for the Warhounds. So Aquincum's not going to be a top priority for me. I don't really care about holding on to it long term. I just want to be able to take the city, and then I don't want to spend too much on upkeep once we've taken it. So I think that's worth doing. We'll send our spy up north and just make sure that no one else is kind of in the area looking to pick up Aquincum. I think I would see if any Gauls were going that way, but sometimes the Germans like to come down here and pick up Aquincum since they also border it. Now in Segestica, there's nothing we can really build since we haven't yet reached 2,000 population, and we definitely don't want to build any troops here for the same reason. The question is, do we want the tax rate as high as possible to get a little more income, or do we want to focus on that population growth rate? Because if we were to bring this, let's say, to very high tax rate, we would make an extra 300 denarii per turn, but our growth rate would be 1.5% instead of 3%. So I think we're going to keep it at low tax rate, just get that up to a large town as quickly as possible. On the other hand, in Porlisum, the population growth rate is naturally going to decline as the population grows anyway, since we're at that highest level of city for the Dacians. So we may as well get the tax rate a little bit higher here. Bring that up to high tax rate, and we make an extra 350 denarii per turn. So that's definitely worth doing. I'll go ahead and do that. And there's nothing else to do this turn. We don't have any more move points with Skylies, so let's go ahead and end the turn. And this turn, a whole lot of buildings will complete, and we'll have a lot of money, so there's definitely going to be a lot to do this turn. Looks like we lost the largest faction accolade to Egypt, so they must be taking out the Seleucids right now. That's probably what's happening. The question is, do we care about taking out this captain, this rebel army, or should we just attack the Macedonians? I think probably just attack the Macedonians. The Gauls just made an alliance with the Bruttii, which is not great because it means that the Julii won't be slowing down the expansion of the Gauls. On the other hand, it means that the Julii will not be expanding themselves. So we might have kind of a similar situation to what happened in the Spanish campaign, where the Julii just never expanded beyond their starting 3 settlements. So I would be all right with that, although I'm more worried right now about the Gauls than the Romans. So we'll just have to see. So it's not yet time for queuing up new buildings in these 4 settlements. I forgot it takes 3 turns, not 2. But in Byzantium, we have our mines. And I'm leaning towards building a port here. Let's see how much income that would bring in for us. Almost an additional 400 income per turn from trade. I'm guessing trading with the Greeks, since Byzantium is down here and actually has trade routes to some of the Greek cities. So that is definitely worth doing. And in Salona, we completed our wooden palisade. I think it's time to go ahead and build mines here. I'm a little worried about not having roads. Maybe we'll do roads first, just in case we have any issues with Lugotorix. I'd like to be able to defend Salona. It's not worth losing it over a couple hundred denarii in income from mines. And I'm going to use my spy a little bit, go up here, I don't see any armies, so I want to get back and spot Lugotorix again. Yeah, he hasn't moved. He's just hanging out. But I'm definitely a little bit worried about him, especially with Segestica, because it's so far out here, and there's not really any way to train good troops here. Let me see if we have any good mercenaries we could buy. I'm just going to bite the bullet and train some Illyrian mercenaries. I know it's a little bit unnecessary maybe, but I do not want to lose Segestica because I just was a little bit cheap, especially since we're making so much money right now. And speaking of money, end of turn report, we profited 3,400 denarii that turn. We're doing great. I'm totally happy with that. Now, before we invade Macedonia, one more thing in Porlisum, we'll bring the tax rate down a little bit just because we don't want any rioting here. And I guess we should go ahead and just attack Bylazora. I'm a little bit nervous about doing this, but they only have 2 units there. Hopefully that's all they have in the region. Let's go ahead and build a ram or 2, and I don't see any reinforcements, but there might be some just in Thessalonica or right outside of it. And let's take a look at the mercenaries we can train. Yes, we can build mercenary hoplites, which we definitely will. And yeah, at this point in the game, I definitely want mercenary hoplites because pushing south to attack the Macedonians, we don't really have any heavy infantry as of yet. So definitely worth having some decent phalanxes to complement the sort of cavalry base of my army that I have right now. And yes, we are at war with Macedon. Very dramatic, but I think we can handle them. Hopefully. I just hope they don't have those huge armies of light cavalry, which they sometimes have, because I don't think I could necessarily handle them. I'm just hoping the pressure from me and the Greeks will be enough to overwhelm them. We haven't completed our warhounds in Campus Iazigis, since that takes 2 turns, so let's go ahead and train 1 more unit of Archer Warband in Porlisum. We want to have enough troops that we can definitely take Aquincum. I don't want to risk losing that battle. Looks like they have 3 units of Illyrian mercenaries here, which honestly would be a little bit difficult for just 1 unit of Warhounds and 1 unit of Archer Warband, so I think it's worth buying 1 more unit. Let's go ahead and end the turn and see if the Macedonians bring any reinforcements to defend Bylazora. None that I can see, which is pretty incredible. I'm happy to take Bylazora. But one thing I want to do is just see if they recognize that they're about to lose Bylazora and if they'll give me any money for a ceasefire. So let me offer them a ceasefire and trade rights and map information. And in return, I'm going to ask for, let's do 3,000 denarii a turn for 5 turns. Because if they accept that, I will absolutely delay taking Bylazora. And they accepted it. So I guess I could have asked for more. I felt like I was asking for a lot. But there we go. We just made 15,000 denarii. And I don't think that counts as like an exploit in the way that other diplomacy tricks are kind of exploits, because usually you abuse the regular tribute thing to rip them off, and I did the opposite. So I think that was a fair trade. They just didn't want to lose Bylazora. I don't really know what to do with this army for the next 5 turns. I guess we'll clean up some rebels and maybe lay down some watchtowers. But we'll kind of blaze through these turns relatively quickly here, because I definitely want to get all 5 turns of tribute out of the Macedonians. So yes, we have a ceasefire with Macedon. And looks like that treaty that I was talking about between Gaul and the Bruttii has already been broken because the Julii have attacked them. So maybe not such a big deal as I was making it sound. But the Greeks are also having a ceasefire with the Carthaginians, so I'm happy for them. I remember them being at war with like everybody. So yes, they're at war with the Romans and the Macedonians, and they were at war with the Carthaginians, but luckily not anymore. Now, we have a lot of money to burn and a lot of places to spend it. So in Porlisum, we have a meeting hall, and that means that we can now build a Hall of Heroes to get chosen swordsmen. We could also be building an archery range for chosen archer warband, but we already have basic archer warband, and I feel like the step up between basic archer warband and chosen archer warband is not as significant as the step up between Falksman and chosen swordsman, if that makes sense. So I want to make sure I get some decent heavy infantry. I'm going to build a Hall of Heroes here, and I think that's more important for Porlisum. In Campus Iazigis, we have our communal farming, and I'd like to build a religious building here because there's not really that much else that I want to build right now. So again, the 3 options are improved farms and food production in the circle of Bendis, improved morale with the Circle of Habilisis, or upgrade to light, heavy weapons and armor with the Circle of Zelmoxis. And I think for Campus Yazigis, I'm going to go with the Shrine to Zelmoxis for the armor and weapon increases, just because the population's a little bit lower than its neighbor at Porlisum, and Porlisum is doing the Shrine to Habilisis for the increase to morale. So what I'm envisioning is we'll train a whole lot of high morale chosen swordsmen in Porlisum, and then send them over to Campus Yazigis for retraining to get the increase to weapons and armor. In Tylus, we also have a meeting hall completed here, and let's see how much a port would be worth for Tylus. So we get another 160 trade per turn, which is actually not bad. I think that's worth investing in. It's not quite as good as mines, but it's also cheaper to purchase than mines. So I think a port is worth doing in Tylus as well. In Campus Getae, we have communal farming, and I think I'll build a Sacred Grove of Habilisis here, just because I would love to be able to build Naked Fanatics here. I probably won't build that many, but also just getting that morale bonus for troops guarding this bridge I think is important. And in Campus Getae, I also want to build a couple units of Archer Warband and a unit of Warhounds, because I have one army watching this crossing here, which is great, but there's also another bridge crossing right here. So I don't want the Scythians to just send an army around and just hit us from this side and then we lose Porlisum. So it's worth investing in a decent defense force. I'll buy a few units there. For now, I'm probably good to just send the units from this bridge to watch the other one. And would you look at that? They are already doing it. So I'm actually too late. That's a shame. Yeah, I should have invested in watchtowers earlier, but let's see what they brought. We can't really see exactly what's in this army yet, but we'll take a look and hopefully we can just kind of plug up this hole and trap this army here, and it won't really do anything too bad. We have a new general, Skylurus, who I saw in Porlisum earlier. So let's see how you are. Superior Builder is okay. Increases public order and population growth. In the pink is great, extra hit points so I can actually use him in fighting. And Judgmental's not great. It does help with spotting spies, but it increases unrest, which isn't good. So not the best general. I think Skylurus's job is going to be heading off these Scythians, making sure that they don't attack Porlisum, and also laying down some watchtowers. Now I could build, oh wow, we've got some great mercenaries, Sarmatians and Basterni. I'm tempted to get some, but they're just so expensive that I don't think they're really worth investing in at this point. Maybe a little later if we need more forces, but yeah, we don't need those mercenaries. Let's see, can we see what they brought yet? Not yet. Okay, one unit of Axemen, which are actually pretty scary, and I don't know what the other unit is. I think we'll be okay, but hopefully they leave us alone here. I want them to just march back across the river. Taking a look at our end of turn report, we still profited 730. Not as good as it was before. We're definitely spending a lot on recruitment right now, so that's understandable why we're losing a little bit of money. And in Campus Izigis, we have our Warhounds, and we have the archers from Porlisum, so we finally have our army to go take Aquincum. Let's bring them over here, group them together, and we'll send them down to pick up Aquincum in a couple of turns. And we're just going to send our spy down here to keep an eye on Lugotorix. We just don't want to have any nasty surprises when Lugotorix does move and potentially try to take one of our cities away. And the last city that we needed to buy something for was Salona. I'm going to go with mines for now. We'll build land clearance soon because we do want that population growth rate as high as possible. And speaking of, let's bring down the tax rate a little bit just to get that full 3% population growth rate. But next turn, we start making a whole lot of money from our deal with the Macedonians. Let's go ahead and end the turn, make another 3,000 denarii from the Macedonians. Thank you very much. And yeah, we are doing really well. I'm really glad that I made that deal. That was definitely worth it. Let's take a look at the Scythians. Where did they go? Looks like they might have left. Yeah, they left. That's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and throw down a watchtower here off the beaten track of this road because we don't want to block trade if any rebels sit on this watchtower. And we can go ahead and just camp on this bridge right here with these units. And I was hoping that I'd be able to train more of the Scythian mercenaries, but for some reason I'm only seeing Sarmatian mercenaries. So I don't know if that's from this region or if there just aren't any Scythian mercenaries right now that I can recruit, but that's a bit of a shame. Let's send this archer warband that we trained in Campus Getae to reunite with Captain Idanthesis, who is guarding this bridge. There's honestly a lot of troops here. I don't know if these 3 units could handle defending this bridge, but they would at least slow them down. Let's take a look at our announcements. So the Gauls and the Britons have allied themselves, which also means the Britons are now at peace with the Germans. So I guess there is peace in Germany, Britain, France. It's unheard of. Probably will last 2 turns, but good for them. And let's take a look at our construction report. In Campus Segestica, we have that shrine to Zalmoxis. And I'm going to go ahead and get level 2 of that because that's when you get the upgrades to heavy weapons, which we'll use for our new heavy infantry that we're building in Porlisum in like 5 or 6 turns. And in Byzantium, we have our port. Let's go ahead and build, I think a practice range would be reasonable here, just because in case we get attacked by anyone, if the Greeks ever betray us, or if we're ever invaded by Pontus, we want to be able to train some archers here to defend Byzantium. Let's take a look at our end of turn report. We lost 746 denarii this turn, but we're spending 6,000 a turn on construction right now, so we're definitely investing very heavily in ourselves. And I guess I'll just clean up Captain Acestes, this rebel, just real quick. I probably will barely even show it, but we want to get, do something while we're just sitting here getting paid by the Macedonians. I'll keep this nice and quick. Just use our Scythian mercenaries to shoot the peasants from a distance. I'm sure we won't take any casualties. I'll speed this up. Gave them a nice wide spread so they don't shoot each other too much, and we'll just let them... Maybe we'll do the Cantabrian Circle. Just keep them moving. I really doubt the peasants are going to win this fight. Yeah, they've lost 100 already. They've lost 200, and yeah, they'll be gone any second here. Just this many arrows. This is the power of Scythian mercenaries. They're so powerful. We'll continue the battle, just get a few more kills, see if we can get any experience. Nope. And I don't think they got any experience, but that's alright. Nice quick battle. And we don't really have much else to do, except maybe we can drop some watchtowers. So we'll have Skylies drop a watchtower right here. And we'll march, maybe... march south and leave a watchtower down here on the road to Byzantium so we know if anyone's invading from the south. And it looks like the Gauls are bringing in some more troops. I really hope we have enough here to defend Segestica. But I don't think it's worth using 240 population to train any warband just because they're not that good. So I think we're just going to have to hope that that's enough to defend Segestica. Let's keep sending this army down to take Aquincum. And in Campus Segestica, we'll bring down the tax rate for just a few turns until we have our Sacred Grove of Zalmoxis, because we don't want them rebelling on us. Now, the great thing about our little peace with the Macedonians is this whole army, which is our main army right now, only costs like 1,500 to upkeep, including paying Skylies, Partitua, and Duras. So we're profiting like 1,500 denarii a turn by just having the peace for a couple of turns here, building some watchtowers, and then we can just take Bylazora anyway, so that was very nice. Let's go ahead and end the turn. And for some reason, I accidentally spied on Lugotorix, so now we know a little more about him. Okay. Let's keep marching our captain down to take Aquincum, and I still don't see anyone around, so we should get there before anyone else, hopefully next turn. The Seleucids are allied with the Greeks, so we're kind of allied to the Seleucids. I guess we're the underdogs? I don't know. I hope the Greeks do well in this game, because they were nice to me. They gave me money, and they allied with me. We finished our port in Tylis, and I think I'd like to train stables here, just because there's a lot of wide open range here. If we get invaded out of somewhere I don't expect, it'd be nice to be able to send some cavalry around and just reinforce various areas. So we'll build stables. At some point I'll get communal farming and trader, but like a trader would be worth an extra 20 denarii a turn, so it's not really worth doing right now. I'd rather focus on military buildings for the moment. In Campus Getae, we have our level 2 Sacred Grove of Hephaestus. So I'll go ahead and build a meeting hall here. And in Salona, we have mines. So we can definitely build a land clearance here. I would build a muster field, but that just allows the training of warband. And we couldn't even build one unit of warband here because our population is so small. So definitely we want a land clearance for Salona. We have a new baby in the family named Bendis. I thought we had a general named Bendis already, but okay. You know what? I just checked, and we actually don't have a Bendis, so Bendis the First has been born. Congratulations. And yeah, that 3,000 a turn from the Macedonians is doing wonderful things. We profited 4,877 denarii that turn. We're doing really well on money. Let's go ahead and drop a watchtower in the south, and let's see what we can see. So we can see all the way to Thessalonica, and we can see a little bit more of Asia Minor, so that's wonderful. I guess we'll just march north. I think we have 2 or 3 more turns before we can attack the Macedonians, but we'll just be ready up here. We might drop 1 more watchtower just for fun. In Tylus, I'm going to bring up the tax rate a bit, just 1 tick, because population growth is already good here. We're almost to the highest level of the city, that's fine. We're rich right now, but we won't be rich for long, so I definitely want to maximize our income while we can right now. And I guess this means we're basically safe in the north of our empire. With 2 units of Archer Warband and Warhounds on this bridge, and we'll have the same on this bridge very soon, I think we can probably send Skyluris to go around and drop a few more watchtowers. We'll put 1 here, and then we'll just march this way. We want watchtowers over all of this dark area because we have this huge amount of land with no towers. That's going to be his job for now. Since he's not the best general, we just want him to be our watchtower guy. Let's go ahead and end the turn. And take a look at our end of turn report. We profited 4,100. Again, another great turn for the economy. And in Campus Izigis, we have our Sacred Grove of Zalmoxis level 2, which means we will have upgrades to light weapons and heavy weapons for any unit trained or retrained in this city. So that's wonderful. And I'm going to go ahead and build a practice range here because I just want to be able to have some troop training capabilities in Campus Izigis, even though Porlisum will be more used for that. I want them both to be prepared, just in case we're ever attacked. Ooh, this is not great. Taking a look at diplomatic information, Macedon has just made an alliance with the Germans and the Brudii, which are my 2 nearest neighbors other than the Scythians and I guess the Greeks. But yeah, it sounds like there's kind of an axis of evil of Macedon, the Brudii, and the Germans. So that's not great for me. Hopefully the Germans don't attack me. I expect the Brudii to attack me, but yeah, I don't have a whole lot of strength in this part of the world, so I'm a little bit worried about that. Captain Madius is going to besiege Aquincum, and with just 3 units of Illyrians here, I think we can handle it, but we'll probably starve them out for 1 or 2 turns, just to be careful. And in Tylus, I'm going to bring down the tax rate a little bit. I think very soon, maybe once I take Bylazora, I will move my capital maybe to Bylazora, because that might be a little more central to all of these cities. Definitely once I take Thessalonica, Bylazora will probably be a great capital. But for now, Porlisum is still close to my biggest cities right here, and these cities aren't so big, so I think it's all right for now. But yeah, we will consider moving our capital relatively soon. Let's take Skylies up here, and I think we have 2 more turns of tribute from the Macedonians, so we'll probably put 1 more. I don't know if we really want to put 1 more tower up here. We might just hang out on this border and attack Bylazora as soon as we can once our deal with them ends. So we'll just hang out here with Skylies. Real quick, I'm going to take Skyluris south because, you know, I do want to get over here and get these towers up, but honestly, let's start on this side of the mountain range. Make sure I'm away from any roads, and I'll drop a watchtower here. And then I'll just keep pushing around this way and just drop a tower here. Maybe at some point take out this army because it's probably blocking trade between Porlisum and Bylazora. So by the time I get Bylazora, I should probably knock out this rebel army just so I can trade between these 2 cities. With Aquincum besieged and most of our cities having invested in some buildings, I think we should go ahead and end the turn. There's nothing we can really do. Let's see what happens. SPQR wants to talk to us. Probably something like, yeah, trade rights. Honestly, let's just see if we can sell them trade rights and map information for some kind of regular tribute. Maybe 2,000 denarii for 5 turns. That would be wonderful. Would they accept that? No. They're being stupid. I'm just going to try trade rights map information for map information. If they accept it, they accept it. Yeah, that's fine. I don't really need to get money out of them. I'm already getting money out of the Macedonians, so we're doing all right. Now, I'm actually going to run up here because I think we still have at least one more turn of our deal with the Macedonians yet. At least one more turn. And we're going to drop a watchtower right at the edge of our border before we cross into Macedon, right here. Hopefully this will lure the rebel army away from blocking this road, because otherwise I will have to eventually kill them. But yeah, I was going to just let Skyluris plant watchtowers, but he can't cross this river until up here. So I think I'd rather have him plant a watchtower right here, away from this road, so it doesn't attract rebels. Maybe it'll even attract this rebel off of the road. That'd be nice. And then we'll just send Skyluris. Can he go this way? Yeah, he'll go up this way and drop some more watchtowers in this region. In Portlisum, we completed our Hall of Heroes, so we could start training Chosen Swordsmen, which is so exciting. Attack of 13, and they can use Warcry for an extra 10 attack for 30 seconds. Defense of 17, armor of 7. Excellent morale. They are so good. Very excited to have some heavy infantry, but first, I'm going to build the Sacred Grove of Habilis at least level 2. This gives us +1 morale for any troops that we train here after it's completed. So I'm going to hold off on training these just for a few turns because they'll get +1 morale if I wait. And since they already have excellent morale and most of our generals have morale bonuses, I'm really excited for the heavy infantry that we're going to have in like 5 or 6 turns. We don't have any threats facing us imminently, so I think it's okay to hold off on training them and wait for the higher morale. In Byzantium, we have our practice range. And I honestly think it's important to get roads down here because I just feel kind of exposed with Byzantium being so far from Tylis and there not really being that many troops in Tylis. If I get attacked, I would love to be able to defend Byzantium with an army from Tylis or just Skylus's army. So I think having roads here is worth the 1 turn investment. No more troops though. I think they can handle themselves. But honestly, it might be worth training a boat just for utility's sake in case we want to talk to the Egyptians or anything. Let's go ahead and get a boat here, as well as... Where's our diplomat right now? It's over in Greece. We'll train 1 more diplomat, and then we'll send him over to Asia Minor and start talking to these other factions, get trade rights with them, and hopefully increase our income a little bit. In Salona, we have our land clearance, and we could do our muster field next, but honestly, I think religious buildings are more important than just a muster field that we can't even use. So let's knock down the shrine to Athena that the rebels had, and let's consider what we want to use for this city. I think for now, a shrine to Bendis would be worth investing in because farms is going to be the most important thing for a tiny 600 population settlement for now. We're not going to be training any troops here, so Habilis and Zalmoxis would be kind of a waste. So let's do a shrine to Bendis, and that's where I recognize the name from. That kid that was born was named after the god Bendis, so there you go. But yeah, that'll help with population growth rate a little bit, I think. Will definitely help with income for Salona. So yeah, I think that's worth it, at least for now. The great thing about the barbarian factions is you can build and destroy their religious buildings really easily. It takes 6 turns to get a level 3 religious building, so not as big of an investment as something like a Pantheon for a Roman or Greek faction where it takes you 25 turns to get there and then you have to knock it down and lose thousands and thousands of denarii. And finally, Tylis has grown to a small city, so we'll still complete the stables. It's just 1 more turn, and then we can build our High King's Hall or the minor city, which is very exciting in Tylis. And we still have a pretty significant cultural penalty here of 30%, as well as some unrest. And I'm guessing a part of that is because we still have the Greek governor's villa, so the city style is still Greek. Let's take a look at the city real quick. So here's Tylis today. It's very much a Greek-style city. We have, I believe these are all barbarian people walking around, but all the buildings are Greek-style. Obviously, the city center is Greek-style, so it's not in the style of a barbarian proper, elite city. Although some of our buildings are, because we've built these. Stuff like a meeting hall. That's in our style. But yeah, we should get rid of that cultural penalty as soon as we switch over to a barbarian-style settlement. I don't yet want to attack Aquincum. We'll let them get a little bit weaker. And there's really nothing else we can do this turn. So let's go ahead and end it. The Gauls are threatening to attack us. They want 1250 denarii in return for not attacking us. I don't deal with terrorists. So we're gonna ignore that. We'll offer them an alliance in exchange for map information. If they want it, they want it. They don't want it, that's fine. Yep, and they're attacking us, so to be expected. I'm not sure why they didn't bring Lugotorix's army, because they just brought 3 units. And they're attacking Salona, where I have my faction leader with 88 heavy cavalry. So, not really sure what the plan was here. Let's take a look at what they brought. 2 decent units of warband and a good unit of skirmisher warband, but I mean, even a good unit of skirmisher warband with 2 chevrons of experience has melee attack 8, missile 11, defensive 5, no morale bonuses. So, yeah, without a general, without some chosen swordsmen or cavalry, they really have no chance here. So let's go ahead and kill them. So in this battle, we can use our archer warband and our regular warband, at least to weaken the warband out here a little bit. And if the skirmisher warband comes up to try to get some shots, you know, archers will have better range and better damage. But the majority of the fighting is going to be done by the cavalry, I think. Specifically, Vecina, my faction leader. Honestly, I'm okay with using him pretty aggressively, which is controversial because I have a long history of accidentally losing generals in the Spanish campaign. And Vecina is okay, but he's my faction leader. And I have a really good faction heir who I've been grooming to be a faction leader, Skyles. He's going to be a really good faction leader when he is. So if Vecina happens to die in battle, it would be a benefit to the nation. All my generals are relatively young, so age is not really a factor, but, you know, it wouldn't be the worst thing, is all I'm saying. So if I, happen to lose him, I'm not super upset about that. But I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna try to suicide him. But let's go ahead and get our archer warband outside of the city, and hopefully they'll kind of target Vecina by this tower. I'm happy with them to come over here and get in range of the tower and take some damage. Archer warband is almost outside of the city. Let's send our regular warband out as well. And I will probably send our cavalry out as well. I don't exactly want my general to be pinned against the wall here. So we'll bring him over a little bit just to there. And we'll bring up our warband and archer warband as well. And then let's get our cavalry outside of the city. Speed this up a little bit. I think they're kind of contemplating leaving the battle, but let's bring up our warband to about here. And they'll guard here. And then we'll bring up our archer warband to kind of skirmish with whatever they can reach. And if the skirmishers chase them, or if the warband chases them, we can hit them in the side with our cavalry. So let's get our general over here. We'll get our light cavalry over there as well. And we'll go ahead and bring our archer warband up just slightly in front of our warband. So they keep backing up. They clearly do not want to fight. I'm not really sure why they besieged our city if they didn't want to fight, but we're in range with our archers. Let's draw them up actually fully in front of our unit of warband. We don't want to shoot any of our warband. Perfect. And then you can go ahead and shoot at this front unit of warband with 219. And I'm ready with the cavalry to charge in if they try to charge at my infantry. So pull over here. I think they're going to try and charge for my cavalry, which is not going to work because they're definitely not as fast as us. Let's pull up our warband a little bit in case we need to skirmish with our archer warband. Yeah, no, they're just getting shot in the side. Not really sure what the plan is here. I'm going to put my cavalry on the high ground, so if they need to charge down, they'll have a little bit more of a charge bonus. And as we speak, the archers are just ripping into, mostly looks like skirmisher warband. They don't have any armor really, the enemy warband, so they're just eating shots. Looks like the skirmishers may go for a volley against my archers, so I'll chase them off with my warband. Meanwhile, I'm just kind of inching my way above them for the high ground with the cavalry. Skirmisher warband is fighting my warband in melee combat, which is a really bad idea. I'm going to tell my archers to fire at this unit of warband. My warband's actually shaken somehow against this warband. But they're wavering. Hopefully we can handle them. Honestly, I'm comfortable charging this unit of warband, and I will use rally troops with my general so he stays back from the fighting a little bit, but I think we can take them here. Alright, not working out. We're going to pull back. I'm okay with losing Vitsina, but I'm not going to voluntarily do it. How is my warband losing this? That's crazy. Alright, warband is losing against the skirmisher warband, which is not what I expected. And they've broken. So that's interesting. Let's go ahead and shoot the skirmisher warband with my archer warband, and I'm going to tell them not to skirmish, because I don't think they need to skirmish against skirmishers. And let's get back to the high ground with our cavalry. Kind of tempted to retreat the archer warband, but as long as they have a shot, I think it's worth leaving them out here, even if they take a little bit of damage. Our archer warband is alright. It's doing decent damage, not a ton of damage. But what is charging up the hill here? A unit of warband with 159 troops and not the general's unit. So that's probably not going to work out for them. I'm going to do the same trick with rally troops here to keep my general back. And let's tell my archer warband to run away from this unit of warband that's charging at them. The weaker unit of Gauls warband has broken, so we'll just wrap them up real quick. And they didn't manage to kill any of my archers, so I'll just shoot the warband in the back as they flee. Or I guess charge at my general, but yeah, this won't work out for them. They're taking a ton of casualties. Honestly, once we wrap up the last few of these, warband will charge down into these skirmisher warband. They'll break immediately. And then we will charge into the general's or commander's warband unit, and that should break as well. Perfect. Let's pull back. We'll clean up these skirmishers while we work on the commander's warband unit. And I'll send my archers to specifically fire at the warband, weaken them up a little bit. We don't need to lose our general over this, because I still do need to be able to fight Lugotorix when he comes for me, so need to have some strength in the city. But I'm happy to use all of my arrows here. I will wait. I will get chevrons of experience for my archers. I'm happy to do that. I will keep my general and the other cavalry nearby somewhat, just in case they pin my archer warband against a wall or something. Yeah, getting shot in the back, these warband are really weak to archers, so not really sure what the plan is here. What are they even going for? Are they trying to flee? I don't know. 2 bars of experience already with the archer warband. I might have them just pursue these warband and just try and fire all of their arrows. Yeah, I'll just let them do that. I'm going to speed this up. See if they can get up to 3 chevrons of experience, because that makes a huge difference for missile troops, because each chevron gives you an extra 1 missile attack. So they're very rapidly getting really good. And they just get a volley off, and then keep running, and then get another volley off. So yeah, I'll just speed this up, let them get their kills, and this should be a nice decisive victory. They did get the last kill on the general, did not get their 3rd chevron of experience, but I'm happy to end the battle there. Looks like 9 people survived. We lost a whole unit of warband, unfortunately, but yeah, I really did not expect that warband to lose so badly to the skirmisher warband, but I guess the chevrons of experience just made them a little too tough. I should have used Warcry, I just didn't even think I'd need to. Vitsina got good commander for another command star. Honestly, he's at the point where he's almost as good as Skyles, so maybe I shouldn't be thinking of him as someone who should just go off and die, but just the management and influence isn't quite as good as I would hope. So I forget exactly what the effect of management, influence, and command is on your faction when it's in your faction leader, or if that's just a medieval too, but I think there's some benefit from having a really good faction leader that benefits your whole faction. So if you remember that, let me know in the comments, and I guess I'll decide whether Vitsina lives or dies. I might not have to decide if Lugotorix comes and finishes him off, but yeah, we'll see what happens with this front later. There's a whole lot of war going on in Europe. The Britons and Germans are at war. Gaul and Dacia, obviously, we're at war. The Germans have broken their alliance with the Gauls, which is good for me. And Scythia is allied with the Seleucids, which is not super optimistic for me, but honestly, they probably won't last till I see them anyways. Let's take a look at Aquincum. We have some Germans here, including some Screeching Women, which would probably be somewhat scary for this little army. So I think it might be time for me to attack Aquincum. I'd rather defend it than be attacked in the open field by these Germans. So let's go ahead and attack Aquincum. I think we can handle this. We just need to be smart about using our archers. and when we release our war dogs, but I think we can handle this. So war dogs cannot man the ram, but I will keep them nearby, and I'll keep this spare unit of archer warband nearby as well. And we'll just use this unit of archer warband to go up and potentially eventually knock down the gates. But as long as I have a shot on any Illyrian mercenaries, I will definitely just shoot them with my archers. No need for me to knock down the gates immediately because I have the range advantage on these Illyrians. So this unit has a shot. This unit almost has a shot. I'm just going to send them up, and let's see if we can get some kills early in the battle. Looks like we've killed 20 Illyrians already, nearly. So that's not a bad start. Let's see. Are you going to get a shot? Do you have time? Maybe not. Let's send our archer warbands up, just right up to the gate. See if they can get any shots. Nope, they don't have a shot. So I'll send the smaller unit of archer warband over to grab the ram. But with just that 1 or 2 volleys, I killed 5% of the enemy army. So definitely an advantage to bring mid-range missiles to a short-range missile fight. Knock down the gates. I'll keep this nice and quick, just speed it up. Can't really do anything until we're in the gates. But I'll get the... Ooh, actually, let's go ahead and drop the ram. We got some shots in on these Illyrians. They keep coming up, so if they keep coming up, I will keep shooting them. I'm happy to do that. But yeah, I've got the dogs nearby. We'll send them in first, and we'll have the archers nearby to shoot over the gates. Alright, I'm going to have them drop the ram and fire at will. These Illyrians. Oh, not good. They're throwing their missiles at us. Let's back up. Back up with the dogs as well. Do not want to take any unnecessary casualties. We can get some shots from kind of mid-range where they can't shoot back. That would be ideal. Let me get these archers over here. Perfect. Alright, get some more kills here. Yeah, they're just taking massive casualties. Not really sure that was the best plan of theirs, but they killed 5 of our archers, so works out for them. They lost 1 of their units, so they're down to 2 units, and we've used less than a third of our ammo. I'll get my archers up here just in case they try to come back again, and I'll send my war dogs into the city right away. So war dogs are in the city, and I will go ahead and release them on these Illyrians as my archers shoot in the side. But hopefully my war dog unit themselves will not break. They did break, but the dogs have been released, so it does not matter that the unit broke. Honestly, it's kind of good because hopefully we won't lose any of the handlers, and then we won't take any casualties from our actual unit of warhounds. It says 47, so it looks like we took 1 casualty with the warhounds. That's all right. Let's back up our archers to here, see if we can get a shot on these Illyrians as the dogs work on them. If we can just break this 1 unit that has the general in it, then we should be able to handle the last unit with our 2 units of archer warband. And it looks like they're kind of pushing out to attack us. Yeah, they've broken. Didn't work out for them. We'll get some more shots on them as they flee. Perfect. So now we're just down to 1 unit of Illyrians in the city, and it's just sitting on the plaza. So we'll send them in. I'm not going to use the war dogs anymore because losing those handlers is not worth having 47 units of just basic infantry. If all the handlers survive, then we keep all the dogs for next time. So definitely worth it. We'll get some shots on these Illyrians from beyond their range, which means they will probably never be able to fire archers or fire their missiles at us. We'll back up a little because they're trying to get in range and fire again. And at some point, if we just charge them, I think we can win this fairly easily. They're firing some missiles, but only a couple of them can even reach us. So we'll definitely fire way more missiles back into them than they will ever fire into us. Yeah, not looking good for them. Yeah, for every 10 missiles they throw, we fire 300, so not good. And they've broken. We will just continue shooting them as they break. It's so nice having archers. After playing the Spanish campaign, where you start with these horrible slingers with horrible range, and you're just relying on the few mercenaries you can get, I'm so happy to have archers right off the rip, and even better long-range archers a little bit later. I'm so excited. We have the POV of their commander as he marches to his death. He's relatively tough. I'm impressed. Wow. He is not phased whatsoever. Can we get him? There we go. We got him. And now we just need to break this last unit, and they will have lost the battle. They're not even running. That's how confident they are. They think they can handle this. I'm not so sure. Perfect. Battle over. Let's go ahead and end it. No need to finish this. Somehow that was a heroic victory. I'm not really sure how they were going to win that. Let's see if we healed our war dog. No, we healed 3 archer warband though, so that's all right. So we should have taken 4 casualties from our unit of warhounds. Looks like, I think that's right. But yeah, we took some casualties to our archer warband. Let's see if we can see any more detail about these Germans. No, just that it's a weakened unit of screeching women, which we could pretty easily take apart with archer warband. I didn't enslave this city because I was banking on it not being just 400 population. If you enslave it, then you get the 5% population growth bonus from having slaves in the area. But I'm glad I didn't, because with 1,081 population, this could actually be a decent sized city if I invest in it. So I'm glad I didn't enslave it. I just occupied it. I'm going to go ahead and build roads in case I need to reinforce Aquincum if we get attacked by more than just this little army of Germans. And then I will continue building probably a land clearance next, and we'll invest in some religious buildings, that kind of stuff. Let's take a look at our announcements. In Tylus, we have our stables, which means we're going to start working on that High King's Hall. In Cambosketi, we have a meeting hall. So I think we'll build a trader. We definitely don't want a tavern really in any of our cities. We might eventually in cities where we know we won't have a general, but there's really no point in having taverns for the 5% public order bonus. It's just not worth it. In Byzantium, we have our roads. Let's see if we have any threats coming. Looks like the answer is no. Let's go ahead and build a land clearance here, get that population growth rate up a little bit higher. We want a minor city as quickly as possible in Byzantium. In Salona, we have our shrine to Bendis, and we'll build our muster field just to have it completed. But yeah, no real benefit. We have money, so we may as well buy everything. We profited 2,698 denarii that turn, even though we were getting 3,000 a turn in tribute from Macedon. So that's kind of showing that our economy is slowing down a little bit as we upkeep all these troops. So we're not totally out in the clear for our economy. We do need to improve our economy a little bit here. Let's take another look at Lugotorix's army here. 2 units of barbarian cavalry, 3 units of warband, and a unit of skirmisher warband. And let's take a look at Lugotorix himself. Can we just spy on him? What's our percent chance here? 100%. Great. Intelligent, Spartan, in the pink, civilized slave. He's pretty good. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried because if he just came to attack Segestica, which he could do with no notice, actually, I don't know if I would win this. But I'm not going to waste any money on getting any more Illyrian mercenaries, even though I'm sure I could train them. I'm just going to hope for the best. And yeah, hopefully he just doesn't attack, because I don't want to deal with that. Over in Porlisum, we have a slight public order problem. We're at 60%, but that is technically red. I don't think we will start rebelling or having any rioting next turn, because our Sacred Grove of Habilisis will be complete next turn. But that being said, since it's anyways going to be complete, I can go ahead and build Chosen Swordsmen, because they will be trained with the morale bonus of the Sacred Grove, since Sacred Grove is completing this turn. And that is pretty much guaranteed to get our public order to the point that we won't have any rioting. And if we look at our diplomacy/tributes, we are done getting any money from the Macedonians. So we can go ahead and attack Bylazora. We're going to call it apart in just a second here, but we have the excitement of attacking Bylazora next part. The question is, can we even handle them? Because let's take a look at these armies. We can't really see much detail, but a lot of cavalry, a lot of levy pikemen. Yeah, we might have to fight several skirmishes with our Scythian mercenaries in order to win this, so that's a little bit scary. And also, looks like this army may be marching north to cross this river. Do we want to purchase anything to defend that river? Let's just sit on this river. And do we want to buy Basterni? I don't know. Or Sarmatians? I'm going to ball out a little bit. I know this is maybe a little bit brash, but I want to win this war against the Macedonians, even if it means we go into the red for a few turns. We have enough bankroll to afford this. I'm going to purchase a couple units of Basterni and 2 units of Illyrians. I know this costs, oh no, 5,000. I can't justify it. I'm not doing it. If I lose this bridge, I lose this bridge. We'll fall back and defend Aporlisum. That's fine, because we'll be able to build some Chosen Swordsmen here. We can be a little more dynamic. We don't need to just bankroll our problems. So yeah, we have a lot to look forward to with next part. Definitely fighting the Macedonians is going to be a big issue because they have a lot more troops than I realized. They use those 5 turns of paying us off to mobilize an army up north. So definitely there will be a bit of a challenge because we chose to milk them for tribute money. But I think it was worth it. I'm excited for a proper fight against some proper armies. And hopefully the Greeks get involved at some point. What are the Greeks doing right now? They've held on to their 2 cities, but looks like the Macedonians managed to fight off any kind of a siege at Corinth. And yeah, the Macedonians are looking pretty strong right now, so they definitely need someone to put them in their place. So in summary, we are scared of a counterattack by the Macedonians. We're scared of losing our attack of Bylazora. We are scared of losing Byzantium. We are scared of the Germanians taking Aquincum, and scared of Lugotorix taking Segestica or Salona. So basically everything's going great. No, yeah, this is definitely going to be an action-packed part next time, but I'm really excited for that. Excited for some proper battles with Macedonians, and hopefully these Greeks wake up and get in the action a little bit. But yep, thank you so much for watching. I will have a new video up every Wednesday and Friday, as I have been doing, and I hope you've been enjoying the series. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out. But thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.